Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the ALTTP Randomizer daily race here on Speed Gaming 3. Today we have ourselves a standard seed, 7-7 to defeat Ganon, 7 crystals to enter GT, and 7 crystals to defeat Ganon. And we had our Enium, Gamachu, Old Man Sunshine, and Cassidy Mullen here on the restream for you guys to watch. I'm Professor Render, and joining me is a newcomer here on the Speed Gaming channel, Nitro 6003. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
I am doing amazing right now.
This is going to be an epic race between these four competitors.
Yep, we should be getting the feed starting up pretty soon, and yeah, these runners they don't need any introduction. They're some of the best runners here in the Link to the Past Randomizer community, and there's a lot more behind the scenes, and we are underway. We should be getting the switch pretty soon.
So what item do you think Uncle will have today?
I personally would like Samaria because just because it's a lot more, you have a lot more wet damage, but then again you still don't. The one caveat is because you can't farm for bombs a lot more quicker now, because especially now with the V31 there's no randomized prize packs. It's all vanilla that shuffle them on themselves.
That's awesome. And I'm actually hoping for Berna just because it's harder to farm, but with that information, that's interesting.
And bad, and we get the 10 bomb pack. So the good news about that is we don't have to necessarily worry about bombs, but this is actually the more harder of the bunch because you got to use bomb strats, and this is no laughing matter. Bomb strats are, if you don't know how to use the bombs efficiently, then you're gonna have a rough time. Luckily though, since the game does know how to handle this in case you do get stuck, in case you die, you'll get a set of bombs right out of the gate, and then the other chest right after Uncle is shield.
Yeah, what I've noticed with bomb strats is people usually are not as worried about the back of escape and just getting through the front half, and then there's usually some checkpoints along the way.
It's a nice checkpoint right after you get to the escape once you have Zelda, so you will have bombs afterwards. So you're gonna see a little bit of some interesting strats here because the fact that we have bombs, but you gotta use this bomb sparingly. You gotta lure the guards and make sure you use those bombs efficiently, so that way you can get the stuff you need. There's the Dark Cross key.
Yeah, so we just have the map, and then the rest of the items chest will be all the items from there.
Yep, and that's. I mean, the map is going to be nice once they'll pretty much confirm that we don't have to really wait out that one chest. But I mean, if we don't see the map, that's also good because that way you leave out a check. If you count your items, then you should be able to leave out the sanctuary check.
Yeah, true that. I've seen a bunch of the randomizers where people always forget about that chest, and they end up getting messed up. So better to check it and to just have it done.
Yep. The boomerang chest only has 20 rupees, and we'll be approaching the ball and chain guard, which contains Zelda's key, the cell that she's in, and they're gonna probably use pot strats here to save up on bombs, and that's exactly what Gamachu is gonna do, because these pots do tempered sword damage when you throw them.
Yeah, that's usually the strats that I see when watching past races. Usually runners do go for the pot strats when using bomb start or burn.
So let's sell how many 50 rupees. That's nice. Earlier on, we have, in case they want to buy the bombs off of Kakariko later on down the road, but it's also means that we're a little bit closer to those rupees that you need to get for the bottle vendor.
And then you have Zora that we have to consider saving up for.
And that's 500 rupees. And by then we'll have the Kakariko check for the bottle vendor out of the way once we have enough rupees for that.
And then you have Kiki, the ultimate extortionist.
Yep, and there's Kiki. That's all there really is, and you really need to consider when you have to buy the rupees. And there's also a little bit of a weird fun fact that you actually have to buy your tempered sword from the blacksmiths for only 10 rupees but by then the runners will have plenty of rubies by then, so it's not really a big issue.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me is to see the two pendants in the light world. I always like when I do my runs, I love to see the 3 crystals in the light world rather than the 2 pendants, because then you have to wonder about pedestal being a higher check. But again, not knowing what the dark world is, you have to be aware, because if it's Turtle Rock as our other pendant, then it makes the pedestal even less likely to have been there.
Yeah, I mean, in general, the pedestal is very, very low and very unlikely in most cases. And yeah, because we did our map check earlier on, we had Tower of Hera being a green pendant, and then Desert Palace being a blue pendant, and then Eastern Palace being our only remaining crystal. Gamatsu now going to go and check out the Dark Cross chest. Only 10 arrows. Same for Radium, because this is pretty much the same route. The reason why they have a light when they don't have one is because the game's hard-coded to give you the lamp for this one section alone. And once you come out of the escape, then that lamp is no longer needed. Well, of course, we'll need the lamp for logical access to things like Death Mountain and the like.
Yeah, and I'm sure these runners at this pace don't even bother caring about the lamp. For me, I always like finding it, just make the Stark rooms a little easier, but there are some that you just have.
Yeah, there's also the most recent addition to V31s that the Fire Rod can be required in case there's a dark room with a torch box that you need to light. Gamatsu now going to check out the back of escape, 10 arrows, map, there's the map, and our power glove.
Oh, so that can give the runners early access to Death Mountain if they choose to sequence.
Yeah, that would be a sequence break there in case they want to do that. The only thing they can really do on Death Mountain that early in the game, though, is, well, for the Spectacle Rock checks on top and inside Spectacle Rock.
Yeah, personally, I like to wait till I get at least hook shot if I can before going up there, but I will go up there before running Aga.
And then the remaining chest in the sanctuary is only 20 rupees. So now, one of my personal routes that I do is that I really route up to Lumberjack Cave just to make sure we can get Aga 1 out of the way in terms of the items that we would need to get up there. But that still doesn't dictate that we would need Aga 1 specifically. Like just, oh, this is immediately Aga 1, not Aga 1 required if there's nothing on there, of course.
What I like to actually see is if it's going to be an Aga seed, if we know for a fact, like a hammer or a glove upgrade is there, like we then know we have to run Aga. What I don't like to see up there is powder or mushroom, where then you're like, is it?
Yeah, Omega Sunshine taking an immediate divergence and only 20 rupees on top of Lumberjack Ledge, so we're not going to be killing Aga 1 just for that. Omega Sunshine actually, since he ran out of the bombs in the escape, he's actually going to go south and farm up the bombs in the lower section of Hyrule, just a little bit below Kakariko.
Yeah, it's an interesting start. I mean, I've seen a lot of the runners start to do that, where they don't immediately go to the village to check out their stuff at first. They actually go South Shore, depending on the way.
Lost Woods having a lot of money here, both 300 packs right out of the gate, both on the mushroom spot and in the drop down. Eddie, I'm going to immediately head over to Kakariko. That's one of the big early checks that you can really do in the start of the game. It's the most item dense very early on, and you have a lot of checks to do.
What I've seen runners do is they sometimes will go South Shore first, depending if they get like an early sword or more permanent weapon than bombs, and then they'll check that, hoping for a bottle or flute to then do more inside.
Again, the flute, there it is in Blind's Hut, and there's a lot of bombos.
Oh, we don't know if that's required just yet, but with 2 pendants in the light world, there's more than likely that at least one, if not both, Turtle Rock and Misery Mire.
Loaded Blind Hut as well. We got the flippers out in the bombable spot. That's really nice. And again, flute is very, very nice when you find it in Kakariko because you can immediately activate it right out of the gate. And I'm heading for the well. Also, Cassie did a quick divergence over to check the South Shore. I didn't really see what was on the chest inside the dam. We're going to check the sunken treasure too. I didn't only finding 3 bombs in the start of Kakariko. I didn't see the other ones. But there was also got mushroom, bombs, and 50 rupees. And Cassidy finding 20 rupees on this hunger spot. And 50 rupees in the other chest too. Just from the well.
Yeah, it's definitely a loaded Kakariko. I mean, and definitely getting that flute there is going to help. And then they can easily get up to Death Mountain and get to Ice Rod Cave and check Agina's Cave, which actually Cassidy is doing right now.
Yeah, and also Bellbender had a sword. I didn't activate his flute right away, so he's got access to the flute. That is logical access up to Death Mountain, but the only thing that's only out of logic is the Old Man Cave, and we do need a lamp for that. So there's that. Cassidy heading straight for Agnes Cave, or Agina's Cave, whatever you want to call it. Gamma also activating his flute. Eddie, I'm going to check out the bottle, or not the bottle, the chicken vendor. Trying to use the chicken clip, but doesn't get it.
Oh, I love getting that chicken clip.
And there's nothing really of Wharf here. Only just some heart container, and then Cassidy only finding 3 bombs off of Agnes Cave.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what the runners do after Kakariko and South Shore, because in order to get even access to Aga, we need cape and lamp, or sword and lamp. Well, definitely lamp, but another sword upgrade or a
cape, sword, and lamp. And only 10 arrows on the library, as Cassidy gonna do the bomb strats for Mini Moldorm. And I like that Mini Moldorm just sitting there, just locked up against the wall. That is something I've never seen in my entire life.
Me neither, and I've been playing this game since it came out, so definitely have not seen that.
There's King of Burna inside the inside Mini Moldorm Cave, along with a red boomerang and a fire rod.
Okay, so with fire rod and mitts and flute and flippers, I'm kind of wondering if the seed is leaning towards an early Swamp Palace play or an early Mothfield.
Yeah, we'll still need it to get a Titan's Mitts later eventually. We're still on Power Glove, so we'll find a Moon Pearl and a hammer that will give us complete access to the Dark World right away. And again, nothing here. Everyone's gonna be pretty much reconvening on themselves. Old Man Cassidy has yet to do go over to Kakariko, get his loot from there, and he's gonna go for Ice Rod Cave instead.
I have seen that troll so many runners where like the Moon Pearl or something important is there, and then they end up doing an unneeded aggle.
I mean, it's kind of hard to miss because most of the runner, it's pretty much ingrained into your head that you have to do Ice Rock Cave along with your South Shore checks immediately after Mini Moldorm Cave, so it's not really too bad, but it can happen from time to time in case there's something big on there. Oh Man Sunshine, I'm gonna turn in the mushroom because he has access to the potion shop just from accessing that flute. Just gonna go open inside.
I wonder if he's gonna hard reset now if it's something important.
Well, he hasn't hard reset it yet, and he's gonna leave the 5 rupees behind. And the reason why I say he hasn't hard reset yet, because if he saved and quit, he would be able to set up for the fake powder, which typically you'll use the Cansamaria and the mushroom, or something that can get your magic meter down enough so that way you could pull it off. And speaking of magic, we have half magic in Hospitala's Closet, along with 100 rupees and 20 rupees there. Old Man Sunshine gonna go for Agnes Cave next, and Gamachu, he has logical access to just to the hobo because of the flipper checks. I didn't remember I had checked it recently, and Gamachu gonna just give us confirmation. And there's a mirror.
Yeah, and especially with that, like I said, with that mirror now and Flipper's early Swamp Palace is not out of the mix. I mean, we still need Hammer and Moon Pearl to even get access to that side, but now we have a lot of the items. Of course, we still need Hook Shot, but we've got a lot of those items for Swamp. I'm kind of like really wondering if the game wants us to go to Swamp.
Yeah, it's an early check. If they can get the materials for that, then I can see a really early Swamp Palace play, again, we don't have Dark World access yet, and when we do have Dark World access, we will be able to go and we'll be able to see what is there, well, in terms of the pendant layouts in the Dark World. But that also means too, because of the mirror in hand, we have access to Tower of Hera. It's Green Pen and Tower of Hera, yes, but it is a dungeon that you can clear currently because you have a fire source.
Yeah, in case you have to go take a coffee break.
Yeah, and then Eddie, I'm heading for the Waterfall Fairy, getting a cape from there, so we're a little bit closer to Aga 1. Just need a lamp.
Yeah, now you just need a lamp, yep.
And now, Eddie, I'm going to head up towards the Zora King. We're also going to check the Zora Ledge while we're here. And only 3 bombs.
Yeah, that will be left there.
Typical here. Zora doesn't usually give you a whole lot, although then again, just recently, from the recent qualifiers, we did have a bow on Zora, which was actually progression.
Yeah, I haven't found many seeds where you can get around the bow.
Yeah. And speaking of Zora that has progression, here's your Titan Blitz.
Oh, there you go. Now we just need Moon Pearl or Commentator's Curse, Moon Pearl on Pyramid.
The Pyramid Ledge is not a bad idea. It's only in the event that we don't have anything else in the there's nothing else here on in the light world, and the only possibility is the Pyramid Ledge with the Moon Pearl, which means Aga 1 is most definitely required.
But it's just seeing in chat that it could be in Checkerboard Cave. They have access to it.
Oh yeah, Checkerboard Cave 2, which is another option too, which because we have the flute, we have the Titan's Mids, we have the mirror, and Eddie, I'm gonna just hard reset his mushrooms. That way he has the fake powder set up ready to go.
Yeah, I actually like that better than losing the mushroom, especially it wasn't important because now you don't have access to powder, and if powder happens to be on pedestal and then it leads to something important, you could have just broken a pedestal required seed in that case, and we're going to see Edium go rescue the old man.
Yep, and then Gamachu is also taking a dive into Dark World, and we have our map check too. 5-6 crystals are on the last dungeons of the game, Misery Mire and Turtle Rock.
So definitely going to have to be searching for that ice rod.
Neither is also on its normal location here in Misery Mire that is required for that.
Yeah, it says, so yeah, we're going to need that ice rod. And yeah, Misery Mire with, so I'm wondering what Turtle Rock is going to be. Is it going to be, it's vanilla with...
Well, it's our community vanilla location of the ice rod, but also we did notice that Ice Palace is also a pendant. That is a good thing, especially when it's not a green pendant, because that way if you don't necessarily have to go here if you can avoid it. Also, Desert Palace is not boots locked, so we can do Desert Palace. Of course, this is a pendant. We have only 2 items here. If we find the 2 items earlier on, then we can in fact leave this dungeon behind. Eddie is also setting up for the Super Bunny, which is done by mirroring on the same frame you enter a entrance. This is typically done so that way you can go ahead and check Mire's Shed without needing the Moon Pearl.
That's definitely interesting, and I see some people in chat saying screw Ice Palace. I agree with them. I hate Ice Palace with a passion. I would leave it.
Ice Palace is a very confusing dungeon, and it was mercifully changed in the Game Boy Advance port, and only 22 sets of 20 rupees inside Mire's Shed.
You could leave that alone too. But yeah, I think in the vanilla game and the one that was released for the SNES, I believe they wanted you to do 3 full rounds in Ice Palace in order to get through it in the vanilla way, if I remember correctly.
I think it's one extra pass. I don't know if I'm not mistaken. I haven't really checked it out myself. But Gamachu got the bow out of Desert Palace. That is one of our items too. That is really nice. We have, we do, if the big key is not in the vanilla big key chest, then we have access to it. We have access to a dungeon that we can clear logically. And only 20 rupees on Checkerboard Cave.
So there goes Checkerboard Cave's Moon Pearl Act.
And another one of our trackers, the Maga, saying that thank God we have the IPBJ, the Ice Palace Bomb Jump. It's a tricky thing, but it's if you can do it consistently, then you're probably going to be one of the best runners in the entire game. But I mean, yes, there's still people that will have to screw up on that Ice Palace Bomb Jump a little bit before.
I'm one of those. I can't get it. I mean, I can get certain bomb jumps, just not that one.
It's tricky because you have two pixel perfect positions you have to line up the bomb jump for. And Eddie, I'm now picking up his bow and actually immediately heading for the back of Desert Palace.
I guess if I were running this, I would have gone up to do Hera first, because it is the green pendant, if without knowing that Desert Palace had the bow. Because it has green pendant, it has that extra item, so it could be interesting.
Yeah, that would be a total of 3 items if you count the green pendants turn in. And also, we do have if we ever have to go into the coffee break room or the vanilla big key chest room, we have a fire source, so we can logically do it. However, as of recently, a lot of the runners have been trying out been using a new trick called the Hera Pot, which allows you to skip pretty much the entirety of Hera, and it lets you do the Moldorm fight right out of the gate. So
I think I saw Pinky Rose do that. Is that where you bomb jump, or right by one of those where the fairies are, and then you drop down?
Yeah, you bomb jump in a specific location, you turn around with the boots, or if you don't even need the boots for it too, you need a hook shot for it to work though. You need to clip inside the pot and then do a specific upright input, and then you fall into the pit. If you don't do the upright input, then you're gonna get stuck and you have to stay in place.
Which could be a bigger time loss than just going up the dungeon, but yeah, it's certainly possible. And Edium is taking on Moldor. And Molas, rather.
Get a Lambola fight. And we have the normal intended routes, but that is a pretty quick and easy clear. And our second item is a piece of heart, and there's our first pendant. We also have the ice rod in Eastern Palace, which is really nice that we don't have to really go on a huge ice rod hunt.
Yeah, that's always the item that's makes most runners have the most trouble, because it could be literally anywhere except for Trinex and behind Trinex. Otherwise, it could be anywhere in the world.
Yeah, and luckily too is I think I saw Gamachu he got the big key earlier on, so the Armos fight is now in logic because of the way as I said previously, in version 31, the fire rod can now logically go get you through dark rooms by lighting up the torch boxes. So because any dark room that has a torch box that you can light with a fire rod or a lamp, then you can actually make that logically required, because of the fact that once you have a lamp already, you don't have any reason to light up the torch boxes. But in this case, when we have a fire rod and we don't know what we can't see, this now makes it logically required.
Oh, so that would put an interesting thing with Pod then too, because there's a lot of those lightable spots in Pod, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but then by then, I mean, you can't really. I think you can't. The only exception to that is the dark maze, and I believe the back of Pod.
Yeah, right before Hemlock King, but everything else you could definitely get to. We're seeing Gamachu use the fire rod to light up that more challenging dark room in Eastern.
Eastern. Yeah, this is pretty much the demonstration of what the logic now requires you to do. This is going to be, since it's the only one that has gone deeper into Eastern Palace as of yet, and Edium has already entered, Gamachu will draw first blood here once he kills off the Armos Knights.
Yeah, getting his first crystal. I'm kind of wondering if these runners, if they don't find anything here and don't find anything on Death Mountain, do you do Aga in the dark? Because I've seen a couple of seeds in the past, especially now with the Fire Rod being able to do that. I'm just kind of wondering, is it worth it to not bother looking for the lamp and just go right for Aga?
There's not enough torch boxes to let you do it logically. And yeah, Gamachu drawing first blood here, going off the Armos Knights and getting his first crystal.
Just 6 more to go. And then you have Old Man leading Old Man.
Yep, that's kind of a funny little thing there, because it's the only thing on Death Mountain that's that's not out of logic, because that's just because you need a lamp for that sequence anyway. But again, you have access to Hera, you have the materials you need to make this logically viable. I say just go for that too. Also, we see there's a Master Sword on top of Spectacle Rock, and I think that was a hammer.
Yeah, looked like it to me. We're still missing that Moon Pearl.
Oh, Chad's actually telling us it's actually a hook shot.
Oh, that gives you access to the east side of Death Mountain.
It's more checks there, so very convenient spot for that hook shot. I mean, it's annoying, yeah, but it's very convenient.
Oh, for sure.
And Old Man Sunshine actually not going to be checking out the hint tile, because hints are disabled as of V31. You have the option to turn on hints, but for most of the races nowadays, we disable hints for pretty much all races from this point forward.
Yeah, I mean, runners of these calibers probably don't even need them at this point, and they're probably more hindrance than they are helpful to them.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the hints were pretty. You either got good hints or bad hints. There's mostly either you got hints that you already reinforcement hints that already gave you an item that somewhere earlier on the seed, or just something that's completely pointless, or something that can really make or break a run or a race. That's why it made them so.
Oh, I agree with you, and I'm kind of wondering the better route. Would it be better to check East Death Mountain before going to Hera? Because if you find that hammer, you could just route Hera back in. But I'm just kind of curious why not go that route first. But we'll see what he does inside of Hera.
Well, since we found the hook shots inside Spectacle Rock, it's not really worth to just it's already too late. You're already committing to it right now, because you have access to Hera. It's a dungeon you can clear. You have Green Pendant on her too. So there's that. There's a big key in the first location you check, and actually, so that means we don't have to worry about going into the back of the basement of Hera unless there's an item there. And yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see if Trolldorm if anyone up the tower we get that second item.
Yeah, if there's a second item there, then you're fine.
Yeah, then you don't have to do coffee break.
Definitely Old Man Sunshine will have to do. Old Man Sunshine will definitely do the Green Pendant turn in, because that way he's leaving Eastern Palace behind intentionally, so that way he can in fact finish off. That way he doesn't have to, once he's done with his Eastern Palace play, he can just immediately route in Sahasrara and the Green Pendant turn.
And then we also are seeing Gamachu do the east side, so we'll see if we find that Moon Pearl or hammer.
Yeah, Paradox Cave is the biggest one of the whole package. Pretty much the most item dense spot in Death Mountain. Not a whole lot though.
Just arrow upgrades and rupees. So yeah, not the play there either. So I'm gonna kind of be leaning towards obviously Green Pendant and Moldorm having something has to be progression.
Yeah, or of course the Hera basement. So
Yeah, Hera
that's-
basement. Yes. So down goes Trildorm. 0 for 1 with these runners as far as knocking them down.
Yeah, and that's actually now that does signal that there is an item in the basement with that compass. Gamut, you're gonna go for Spiral Cave, the long and arduous walk through Spiral Cave. One of the most slowest, most tedious Spiral Cave you've ever seen in your life.
Yep.
I mean, they'll get through it anyway. It's with the boots, it obviously makes it a lot more quicker. Only essentially heading for the hero basement, of course. And there's a moon pearl. There you go. There's your dark
So there you go. So there goes Aga. Sorry, chat. I know chat always wants to be making sure we're having Aga and Pedsi. Control the runners as much as possible.
Typically, it's. I mean, I'm gonna make the argument that Aga seeds are more common than pedestal seeds. I've seen countless times where there is an Aga seed, but there's no pedestal and Aga seed. I mean, to be fair, I've seen a couple of them in the past, but they're few and far between. Like they're very few and far between. Gamachu heading for Dark Death Mountain. Gonna check out Super Bunny Cave. Only reason why it's called that because it gives you Super Bunny. You don't have the Moon Pearl. 20 rupees and another 20 rupees.
So, someone mentioned in chat that that Aga is not technically dead. I don't see where Aga could still be required because with Turtle Rock and Misery Mire being 5-6 crystals, you cannot get the hammer in the Pyramid Fairy. So I would think that would be the only way that Aga would still be required at that point.
Yeah, and we also find out that Bombos is required for Turtle Rock, which we do have, which is nice. We got that in Kakariko from the Blind Hut, and Gamachu's gonna do Hookshot Cave. 3 bombs. There's Quake. Don't need it. There are 3 bombs, and there's Ether.
So we have all of our medallions now.
Yeah,
and
which is not.
Yeah, it's always nice to find those medallions too.
Yeah, so Gamachu gonna go head straight for Hera because he went for the play to go for Hookshot first before doing East Death Mountain, and that was ultimately the right play to make.
Yeah, for this seed for sure. I mean, there's never a right or wrong answer. It's just what is right for that seed, and he made the right call.
Yeah, which puts him in a nice position. You have the Moon Pearl. You have access to the Dark World. Well, of course, you only have access to it. You have access to the Mire area, which we've done already. We do have access to Misery Mire, but we cannot clear it because we don't have the Can Samaria to clear it yet.
We could see. Well, you could see Samaria on Ped at this point, depending on the how the keys are laid out in Ice Palace.
Yeah, I mean it's likely just depending on the Ice Palace key layout, which is something I honestly don't know a whole lot about. But Desert and Hera, they're easy penance to clear, so they're not really too worried. It's in a nice. Ped is looking not too bad, but of course there's so many items out there that it's too early to deduce everything. Gamma heading for the Village of Outcasts because that's the next item dense area that you can really do.
I think for pedestal now it's boots and lamp possibly are left.
Yeah, the boots since Desert
Palace Tower.
Yeah, Desert Palace is not boots locked, so that is a possibility. Ice Palace, of course, yeah, there's no definitive boots locked. There's not even a boots lock for that. You just need Samaria or Hookshot, depending on the key layout.
And we already have one of those items, so we could fully clear Ice Palace at this point, depending on key layout, as you said.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the one thing that kind of makes Samaria not a possibility in a pedestal or not. Big key from Gamachu in the Gibdo room, heading for the back of Skull Woods, because since we have Fire Rod, we have complete access to the back of Skull Woods. We easily kill a Mafia, and we should be good to go there. Of course, they'll have to go.
I'm kind of hoping for a book and then somewhere in Skull Woods, so we could check pedestal while we're here.
Yeah, but and again, like I mentioned before, pedestal states are very few and far in between. They're probably the lowest. Again, like I've said before, Aga states are more likely than pedestal states. But of course, this is just saying that Aga states are still kind of sort of rare, I guess, but they're kind of rare. But in standard, there is a good possibility, but not enough to really. I mean, there's a big possibility, yeah, but it's just, again, it's still kind of rare. But
I guess not knowing the mathematical things as other commentators do. I mean, I could just tell you that what is left on to get on Ped, but I mean, it's just where they are in the world, because that's kind of all that's left. I think, like I said, it's boots and lamp. At this point, you don't need the lamp for Ice Palace. You don't need the boots. So Samaria can't, I don't think, be there because of how the keys could lay out. So I think those are the only two items that are left.
Yeah, but you fighting Mothula, and yeah, it depends on the Ice Palace, the key layout. If the key layout does in fact not means that it is not Samaria locked, then Samaria is possible on the pedestal. But that again, it's still kind of slim there. But Gamachu knocks down the Mothula fight, and that's his second crystal in the bag.
That was my second worst fight as a kid, Mothula.
Oh yeah, because it's an annoying fight, because you have the spikes, you have the moving platform. It's a really annoying fight, and how the fight is programmed is that if you hit Mothula with a tier 4 damage like Gold Sword or the spikes, the hit does not register. It pretty much nullifies the damage.
And that's what the spikes are. The spikes are Gold Sword, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that kind of makes the fight even more annoying. Luckily, the randomizer does patch out the Gold Sword part, but not the spike one. So, I mean, that's nice. Old Man Sunshine doing Village of Outcasts. I don't know what I saw because I was focusing my attention on Gamachu.
So yeah, I think it's Edium and the old man. Edium and Cassidy are rechecking things that we've already seen, and then yeah, Gamachu's definitely checking things we haven't.
But the hammer was also picked up in the C-shaped house.
Oh, so that makes Thieves Town totally completable.
Yeah, it's again continuing on the trend of convenient spots. You can pretty much get all the items here in Thieves Town, and it's a crystal too. So if there is an item there, if there's an item on the big chest, then luckily we'll be able to pick that up.
I actually believe at this point, with Misery Mire and Turtle Rock being our 5/6 crystals, I believe other than maybe boots, I believe that's the only thing that could be on a Pyramid Fairy that we could actually need for progression in Ganon's Tower, because obviously Desert was not boots locked. But I think that's the only thing that could technically be there with those two being our 5/6 crystals.
Then really, since these are the 5/6 crystals are on the medallion dungeons, it most likely means that by the time runners go up to face Ganon's tower, that it pretty much means pretty much nothing. It's pretty much dead at that point in time. But if it's in the possibility that let's say GT Big Key is on the torch, then yeah, that it is possible. But Cassidy mode in Misery Mire, again, we can enter it, but we can't clear it because we need a Samaria.
And lamp.
And
in
the lamp,
logic.
yeah. For logically, yeah, logic with the lamp.
But like I said, with these caliber runners, I doubt they care about whether the lamp is there or not.
Yeah, but Misery Mire is the more it's one of the more annoying dungeons to traverse in the dark.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's you got fireball shooters, yeah, for sure. But you can't even get there without Samaria. So
Yeah,
Samaria and lamp.
Mainly Samaria in case the runners want to go in blind through the dark. And there isn't any torch boxes to light. So you have to do it in the dark, and that would be out of logic as well. Just making it logical.
Right, and here's the other thing you have to be careful. You have Vitreous, and was it 7-heart Vitreous and Green Mail? I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to be facing Vitreous with Green Mail and 4.
Oh no,
sorry,
I
7
definitely
hearts.
agree with that. Yeah, 7 hearts and Green Mail is it is a trip. It's very hard to do, and this is it's tricky too. But and Sunshine continuing his trek through Thieves Town. Gamachu has also a while ago just entered it. Eddie, I'm gonna head for the back of Skull Woods.
So yeah, let's see what Cassidy gets in Misery Mire.
Well, there's our big key in the firelocked portion of Misery Mire. Gonna head for the cutscene chest, the 17-second long cutscene, and Cassidy takes a death inside Misery Mire by those bomb slugs.
Yeah, everything in Dark World hits like a tank. I mean, these runners have, like I said, 7-8 hearts at most, and no mail upgrades that I could see. So yeah, sorry, Old Man Sunshine has a blue mail, but still, everything in Dark World hits like a tank. So
Yeah,
like I said, not precious to your health to be in these, especially these later dungeons, without a mail upgrade of some kind. But
I believe that mail upgrade was in Thieves Town. I might be wrong though. But Old Man Sunshine gonna do the blind fight. This is a scripted fight. If you know what you're doing, then you can pretty much kill off blind if you can follow the scripts right.
Yeah, if you keep him on script, it goes from easiest fight to one of the hardest fights in the game if you keep him on script.
Yeah, because it pretty much turns into bullet hell, and it's really, really tough if you don't know what if you can't dodge fireballs a whole lot. But Old Man Sunshine clears out blind pretty quickly, and that is going to be his first crystal, actually.
Yeah, he has yet to. I'm wondering if he's gonna get a Pod Eastern combo together if he goes that route, because he could fully clear both of those dungeons now. Obviously doesn't have lamp, but like I said, these runners probably don't need it.
Yeah,
so I would assume that they could easily do Pod and Eastern Dark.
Because that only makes the back of Thieves, the back of Skull Wood, back of Pod would logic requires lamp, of course. But that is only really that's one thing I'm really consider. There's also a green potion on top of Spiral Cave, which we need a cape for.
Which they have.
If Old Man Sunshine wants to do it, then he could go into Spike Cave and pick up that potion so he can turn in Sick Kid.
Yeah, we haven't seen any bottles yet, so that's a really interesting thing. I would definitely get that in and then turn that bottle in right away.
Yeah, if he wants to go for that, it's a check you can do, and that's actually exactly what it's gonna do. He has the cape out, so he's gonna head for Bumper Cave,
Oh, and then you know how he can go into to purple chest and blacksmiths at that point too. While he's in there, finish off these down. And
Yeah.
if he's lucky enough to find Samaria, he could fake powder and finish all of Kakariko in one fell swoop if he were to get that layout.
Yeah, that would be a really nice thing there too. Casting mode, heading for the cutscene chest. Pretty much got freed up there. There's Old Man Sunshine's bottle. So now all he has got to do is climb down, and then turn Sick Kid. And
yeah, like I said, he can do hammer pegs too. So yeah, he could really do a hurting on that area. Oh, he's gonna first check out King's Tomb.
oh, Graveyard Ledge, because
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. I always get those two confused.
Yeah. Yeah, I know about Graveyard Ledge because in V30, it's still in V31, but of course we turn off hints here. But I know because one of the hints says something is above the pose, which is going to be Graveyard Ledge. Gamachu also doing the dig game, which is only a heart container or heart piece rather.
Yeah, and with the low health, I'm not surprised he picked that up.
Yeah, if he was counting his heart pieces, that would have been a heart refill.
It was. Yeah, I think it was. So he did a great job with that.
Yeah, because it's something you don't really think about, counting your heart pieces. The only reason why you would ever count your heart pieces is if you were looking for a piece of heart throughout the final 4 chests of the game, which is in Ganon's Tower, which also includes the Moldarm 2 chest.
Or if you want to avoid, if you do fake flipper and go up that way, and you don't want to have enough to get a full heart refill and end up back in the wall.
That's the one thing you want to avoid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you want to avoid it. And chat saying Mystery Meyer had nothing.
Yeah, Meyer. I saw Meyer had
still have a crystal, but have nothing and to continue our runners. Fine. So
Gamachu heading for Hype Cave, or as I've been calling it recently, Overhyped Cave or Cave 73, because Hype Cave usually has nothing.
Yeah, even going back, I think to version 27, kind of Hype Cave kind of started falling out. So we'll see what it has.
I think it's more later, but we did get a tempered sword from the NPC.
Oh, that's a good item.
Not bad, but not good either. But again, we have tempered sword. That is a good.
I'd say 3. I say 4 out of 10.
I don't know. It's nice to get tempered sword, but we're still missing progression. I don't really do ratings, but I usually give out names. So I guess the tempered cave. I don't know.
There you go. I guess I've been watching too many of the older versions where everybody gives it ratings, so I just was going with that. But I would say 4 out of 10. Just like I said, tempered sword over master sword, especially on Ganon, big time saver.
But Gamachu is actually heading for a Swamp Palace. Now this is a good call because we have 6 items here, the highest amount of items you can have in the game. It's not Ganon's Tower.
Well, I think it's Swamp, then Pod / Turtle Rock as far as item density.
Yeah, I mean it's 6 items and it's really good. And Pod, of course, it's got 5 items and it's the second best.
Turtle Rock has 5 or 6 if you count Mimic Cave.
Yeah, there's that too.
We're gonna get Pod and Swamp plays as we're going here to see what's in those 2 dungeons. Oh, there's your lamp.
Oh, there you go. That brings all the dark rooms into logic now.
So I'm sure Old Man Sunshine will be happy to get that once he ventures to Swamp. And as I said earlier, I really think that the seed was kind of pushing you towards swamp, that there was something in there, because getting all the items so early in the seed was really saying there's going to be something. We didn't know it was going to be lamp so far, but at least something in pot as in swamp.
And that's a nice thing too. And since Gamachu, this now brings also pod in the brings the entirety of pod of logic too. Old Man's Dungeon actually is also in pod. I saw that he went in there. It's not bow lights, but again, it doesn't really matter. We already have a bow already. And of course, since V31 has progressive bows, we have a chance to see a silver arrowed bow.
Yeah, when I saw that when I first started playing, I was like, "What? I don't understand." I thought that you could get the silver house without the bow, but not anymore. Yeah, they changed that.
Yeah, which is a very welcome addition to the randomizer. It takes out the trouble of having to find silver arrows right there. Also, there's this shovel in Swamp Palace that opens
quest.
up the dig spot.
Yeah, fetch quest for a fetch quest. But yeah, I mean, and I believe if I remember correctly, they also took out that Ganon tells you where the silver arrows are as well. So he doesn't tell you anymore, if I remember correctly.
Oh no, it still tells you it. But if you have both bows, Ganon says, "Oh no, silver, my one true weakness." That tells you. This is only in the event that, well, of course, this is in the event, of course, if we ever, if you get the two bows, or yeah, that's. Also, there was book in Skullwoods. I didn't really see that initially. Leaving out the pet check. It's kind of looking good, I guess, because of course you have Samaria. That's the one thing that's just leaving everything behind at this point.
Yeah, like I said, I think at this point it can only be Samaria or boots that we actually need. I mean, there's other items it could be. And I believe chat saying that Old Man Sunshine got his silver arrows in pod as well, so that'll make his Helmerstar King fight even faster.
And that also means that the final four chests of Yan's Tower are also dead. There's probably going to be nothing inside of there anyway. So you'll probably be seeing the runners skip out on checking the final four chests. Of course, unless of course they're looking for a health refill. If they get powder though, that pretty much just kills it right out of the gate. Gamachu fighting the Argus fight.
And he skipped left side if I was paying attention.
Yeah, he's gonna probably go back into left side swamp if there is something that worked for him. If he wants to gamble that. But there's the maps that does make left side pretty good.
Of
course, he might.
Is he King of Samaria away from go mode? Because he has everything else that I could see for. He has both rods. I think he's King of Samaria away from go mode.
Yeah, he's just a Samaria away. It's only a Samaria away for go mode. That's all he's really looking for. So he's heading back for Swamp Palace here. Yeah, it's probably gonna head for left side swamp.
Yeah. So and with only looking for that one item, definitely worth it.
Yeah, of course. It's a good play for him to just go back and check left side swamp, since I think they were in the item placement pretty much made left side swamp look really good. Cassidy is going to check out the catfish.
I don't think we've seen that yet.
No, I don't believe we have. Of course, one of our chat members saying that, of course, we've been Kane Samaria away from go mode for a while now, but of course there is that looming possibility that the boots are logically required, that you need to grab in case for whatever reason the Ganon Tower big key is also on the Bob's torch. But also Eddie's going to do a head check. Again, I don't really expect much from here because, again, I've said numerous times the ped is pretty much, it's got a low % chance of having anything on there. Yeah, pocket chains. That's immediate death. Quick and swift death.
Well, I think from what I've read before, I think it all just depends on what dungeons are pendant dungeons. Well, if you have, you know, uh, Turtle Rock as a pendant dungeon, well, that makes the pedestal like, I don't know, half a percent, I guess, because you need so many items to get in there. Now, with Ice Palace being that other one, it's a little bit higher, I would assume, because you don't need as many items to get into Ice Palace. And of course, the other two pendant dungeons that we have already completed, we had them a long time ago. So that's why I was wondering. That's why I was saying it was a higher percentage depending on which of the pendant dungeons you have.
Yeah. And that is something to consider too. Of course, since we know that it's just pocket change, we're going to move right along. That pretty much means that we don't have to really worry about that too. And I'm going to go and check out the Sahasrara turn-in. I believe I didn't see it
Yeah,
already, but that's only 50
and
rupees.
And I believe Gamachu got everything out of Swamp, and so just that lamp. But the big chest had the big key, which was also interesting because he was never able to open. It's one of the two dungeons that the big key could be locked in the big chest. Swamp and Skull Woods being the only two.
And also Thieves Town, depending on the circumstances. It's all based on the
Not for the big key. Not for the big key. The big key it can only be locked in those two dungeons. But yes, the small key could be locked inside of the big chest in Thieves Town.
Yeah, I'm just talking about overall.
Yes.
Overall keys, yeah. Not just big keys, but also small keys as well. But yeah. Gamachu gonna go check out the dig spot because he got that shovel out of Swamp Palace. Only a hard piece.
So obviously, other than Lamp, there wasn't very much in Swamp. So I'm kind of wondering where that Cane of Samaria could be at this point. Ice Palace?
Tablets are also looking good too.
Oh yes, now with the book they have access to the tablets, sure.
Yeah, they had the book for a while too. They found it in Skull Woods. So they could also check that out. But Gamachu is gonna go for Pod.
Well, as far as he's concerned, that's probably his best item density location left. Little does he know at this point that I don't believe there was anything in Pod. We haven't seen Helmasaur King, so I don't know if he has an item anymore. But let's see.
Old Man Sunshine is actually going to be fighting Helmasaur King next. And one thing I've noticed too with Gamachu's routing is that he's pretty much avoided the pendants like the plague. And he never went into any of the pendant dungeons. Not necessarily, no, not just went into pendant dungeons. He never cleared any of the pendant dungeons. Of course, he went into Desert Palace earlier on, but he never cleared it.
So I think we're on from. I don't know if I've seen it. We'll have to see if Chad has. I don't think we've seen Dwarf Smiths taken care of or Purple Chest taken care of, and obviously without Samaria, no way to fake powder. So and obviously hammer pegs still are out there as well as for where Samaria could be.
Yeah, that's another thing too. That I think that's the right decision. Really, I think just you can go for the pendants. You can go for the tablets. You can also go for the blacksmith chain. You can do the blacksmiths, do the purple chest. You can also do hammer pegs. That's just some of the ideas here until we decide, we eventually, we might have to go into Ice Palace.
The dreaded Ice Palace. But if you're only looking for one item, it's probably better to wait as long as you can for Ice Palace because it's much faster if you go mode, especially if you are able to do those bomb jumps. I am not one of those, but I'm sure these runners are.
Yeah, I know how to bomb jump myself. It's very tricky because there are visual cues that you can look at, mainly regarding the shadow of your sprite. But even then, I still have trouble getting the bomb jump down sometimes.
Yeah, I think there's only one Ice Palace bomb jump I am able to get, and it's not even on a regular basis. It's the one with the fire bar room. Other than that, the other ones are not as easy for me. But again, pixel perfect thing is harder.
That's the bomb jump that everyone talks about. That's the
No,
not
not. I'm not with the one with the pegs. The other one, the one in I guess what I'm gonna call the C-shaped room in Ice Palace, where you have just a fire bar and no pegs. There's a bomb jump that you could do in there to avoid half of the room, and not in the hook shot one. There's a third room that you can do a bomb jump, and that's the only one I'm able to do. The other one, the famous one, I have tried, and I just either I'm not doing it at the right pixel because I always end up in the hole.
Yeah, it's very pixel perfect, but Edium clears on the Helmus Arcane, gets his crystal. It's gonna be his 4th one. Swamp Palace is there too. That would bring him up to 5 crystals.
So at this point, we're kind of running out of locations of where. So we have the tablets, we have the smiths and the purple chest, we have hammer pegs, and I believe that would be the only places left for Samaria to be at this.
Tablets. It's either tablets.
Ice Palace, hammer pegs, purple chest, or blacksmith.
Yeah, that's all that really is left. If we find the boots, then we do have access to Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb.
Yep.
But Gammachi was on the Helmus Arcane fight. That'll bring him to 5 crystals. And pretty much, I'm just focusing on Gammachi at this point. See what he'll be able to do here after he's done with the Helmus Arcane fight, which he just is about to finish up here. Really smooth fight.
Yeah, very clean fight.
First, there's only a heart piece there, but that is going to be Gammachi's 5th crystal. So I'm going to be a gambling man, and I'm going to say tablets.
Well, I'd be a gambling man, and I would check Smiths and Purple Chest because it's a more direct item locations because you have at least 3 that you could check in one small area.
Yeah, but you're gonna clean up the rest of the checks that he's missed out on pod. But then at this point too, that's when the deciding factor here is just what do you do next?
Well, it looks like Cassidy could. Well, I thought he was gonna head towards Smith's.
Well, he does have the hammer.
So I'm wondering if now he takes the hammer and goes over to do all that before he nopes into Thieves Town. Nope, not gonna have it. Nope, he's going to Thieves.
Since Thieves Town since Cassidy hasn't done Thieves Town yet, that's his next call. In the fact that he got the hammer there, which is very nice. That's some of the nice convenient locations there, which just makes everything a lot more better. Eddie, I'm gonna do Swamp Palace next.
So let's see if I don't know, has Bombo's tablet been checked?
No.
So none of the tablets?
I don't think any of the runners had done Bombo's tablet yet. I might be wrong though. It's
trying to follow 4 runners and see and remember what's checked. What is definitely.
Yeah, and that's the one thing too. We did get a confirmation from chat. Bombos was nothing, but Ether Tablet is still an option.
Okay, so always good to have other eyes out there with chat. Thank you, chat.
Of course, I should also really point out that these 4 runners are only. Of course, we can only show 4, but there's plenty of other runners behind the scenes. You should definitely give them a follow. Eddie Gamachu, Old Man Sunshine, and Cassidy Moen are your restrained runners for tonight. And of course, be sure to follow our wonderful trackers. We have Lumaga and Mr. Scott from Tuna tracking for you all. And of course, I'm Professor Render, and my co-commentator is Nitro6003. Be sure to give us a follow too. We are trying our best to figure out what's going on here, and without our trackers, we would still be clueless. We have our own trackers behind the scenes, and
yeah, we would. And with all of them doing different routes. Oh, it looks like we're gonna get a ether tablet check on Gamachu.
Yeah, he flew it over to 1. That's pretty much he was committed to this ether tablet check, and it's gonna be a heart container rather. Okay, so
really... that means that that means it's gotta be in either hammer pegs, purple chest, or swordsmiths. I believe those are the only locations.
Oh, we haven't seen
Spike Cave. Yes, chat bringing up Spike Cave, and that's gonna happen right now.
Yeah, that's another possibility here. So if Spike Cave isn't the answer, then we have Blacksmith's purple chest and the hammer pegs. That's the only thing left. And so what's gonna be having here? Only a heart container.
So that's down to those 3, and I think he's kind of running out of options because I'm sure he does not want to dip into Ice Palace if he doesn't have to. So I'm going to guess that he's going to flute over to 4, and 3, and see if he can get the rest of it out of the way.
Flew over to 6.
Did he not go into Misery Mire? I guess he didn't.
I don't know. He never went to Misery Mire. He was in the area one, of course, when we had we're still looking for the Moon Pearl, but he actually never went into Misery Mire proper. I think he skipped out on the Mire Shed. I think he also checked...
I think he had trouble getting his mirror to work properly. If I remember from his stream from back, I think he had a lot of trouble getting that pixel perfect mirror, so I think he gave up on it.
Yeah, but Gamachu is gonna flute away. He's only there just to check out the Mire Shed. Gonna flute over to 8.
He's gonna go 3? No, he's going to 8. Is he going to Ice Palace? I think he is.
That's the call.
He's going to Ice Palace.
That's the call.
Yeah, so 3 items in Ice Palace. So let's see if one of them is our Gum.
Yeah, that's an... I like this gamble, but of course, this is Ice Palace. It's the most annoying dungeon, probably the most infamous dungeon in the game, which of course, like I said previously in the broadcast, that it was mercifully changed in the Game Boy Advance port of the game. Thank you, Capcom.
Yeah, thank you, Capcom. I remember playing, like I said, I remember playing it as a kid, and I'll tell you, Ice Palace was cringing. I would go and do Misery Mire first, so I wouldn't have to go through it 8 times just to get through it. It was a pain.
Yeah, I don't blame you. So this is the right call to make. We know that Samaria is not on the pedestal because we know that it's just pocket change on the pedestal. So if it's not here, then really,
then
I think
purple chest, hammer pegs, and smiths. That's the only places left.
Yeah, it's the only ones left.
And like I said, I guess if I were running, again, that's probably why I'm not, but if I were running this seed, I think I would have checked the Smiths first and Purple Chest before going into Ice Palace, just in case. But again, that's why I'm not running, and they are. Gets that bomb jump on its first try.
Yep, that's a very clean bomb jump.
Yeah. So Edium getting his crystal for going through swamp, and he has his lamp, and we'll see where he goes to next. Because he's right on Gamachu's heels. He's cleared more of the dungeons than Gamachu has, but Gamachu has focused, as you mentioned earlier, only on crystals, which obviously is the better of the plays because that's what you need to complete the seed. So let's see if he, after checking Bamo's tablet, goes and checks the Smith and Purple chest.
It's a nice favorable position that will put Edium in a really good position. That's the one thing too. So he doesn't flute away. He's in fact gonna go.
He's mirroring. It looks like he's gonna mirror.
He has the mirror out. He's probably gonna do the stick spot.
Did he do K45?
It's the boots.
Boots. So yeah. So was that? So now Kane could be in any of the boot lock locations.
Yeah, that's one thing too. That now means Kane Samaria now gonna be can either be Locksmith Chain, Here Nice Palace, can either be on the Hammer Pegs, but of course we also have now access to King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks.
Yep. But I'm wondering if Edium is going. He's definitely going to check his dig spot, but I'm wondering where he goes next because he could definitely get the Smiths done, but it looks like he's going back into Dark World, so probably heading to Ice Palace. I'm gonna guess.
Well, he's in the vicinity of the blacksmiths, so that's exactly what's gonna do. He's gonna go for the blacksmith play.
Yeah, I'm
Never mind. There's Samaria right here in Ice Palace.
So there you go. There's go mode.
Yep. Just
1 hour, 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Gamachu officially enters go mode.
Or like 111, like 110.56. I would say 110.57. So that's really
so now
good.
It's just getting through Misery Mire and Turtle Rock as fast as those two dungeons allow, and then of course onto GT.
Yeah, so that's really the best. That's really nice for Gamachu to get that Samaria, as well as the boots too. That pretty much makes makes Ganon's Tower very much favorable. Yeah, I'm not really too surprised that this is looking really well. And doing it for the chat.
Bird toss. All right, so Gamachu made all the right calls for this seed, and it was really good. And like I said earlier, it's not necessarily that there's a wrong play or a right play. It's the right play for this particular seed. He made the right gambles in this particular seed that gave him his go mode. In another seed, it could have been totally different, but he made all the right calls here.
Oh yeah. I mean, to be fair too, because Gamachu's gonna have to do the most of Misery Mire here because it's not a God Mire, but this is Gamachu's way to lose this point.
Oh, for sure. If he could hover though, he could go right over and skip it, but I guess he's not able to or doesn't know how.
The only reason why he would have to hover there. Oh geez, there's the powder off the blacksmiths.
Oh, so there you go. So that's fetch quest for fetch quest over there too.
Oh jeez, but the reason now he can't hover because the big key was not on the bridge. If he does know how to hover, he could do it if in the event the big key was there on the bridge.
Oh yes, because you still need the big key to get into to Vitreous.
And Edium getting the fairy in a bottle from the magic bat.
Okay, so there's the big key. So now he could take himself right to the end, and there's a quick way to the end from where he is, so he doesn't have to go very far.
Now, the convenience of that big key in the first part of the Firelocked portion of Misery Mire is that he can just go to the right and pretty much clear that out immediately. Of course, Old Man Sancho's gonna check out his pedestal because that's the only thing, one of the checks he had remaining. He's gonna get the information that just only pocket change.
Yep, definitely not gonna go back for.
And to answer your question, chats, the boots were in Ice Palace along with the King of Samaria.
So you had a loaded Ice Palace too, and a loaded Kakariko from the beginning. So
Yeah, and now Eddie, I'm gonna pretty much at this point knowing
and Cassidy
that
also in Ice Palace, but he's far behind in his crystal count. He will get his boots, and he will get his Samaria for Go mode, but he has a lot more dungeons to Go mode in terms of Pod, Misery Mire, and Turtle.
yeah, pretty much too. Since Edium and Gametsu, since he's in Ice Palace, once he gets his Go mode, he's gonna be pretty much right behind Gametsu, because he has the same amount of crystals to Gametsu, and of course Cassidy gonna have.
So Cassidy did complete Pod, because on the tracker it doesn't say. So I'm just did he complete Pod?
For Cassidy, I don't think he did.
Yeah, so he has. So if he didn't complete Pod, then there's three. Then he has 3 dungeons to go. Whereas Gametsu is on his
Victorious fight
right now. Victorious fight right now. So yeah, and it'll be a fast one, especially Silver Arrow.
Yeah, just a game of Space Invaders, really.
Yeah. I didn't even know people played Space Invaders anymore. I remember playing that as a kid.
I kind of just thought it on the fly one day. So there's Gametsu's 6th crystal, and all that's really left is Turtle Rock, and you're good to go.
Yeah, so like I said, it's just a matter of how fast you find. If you find that big key, and then you can steal some keys away from Pokey, and yeah, so there's definitely some advantages now. So now he'll just flute up, and he'll be Go moding Turtle Rock as, like I said, as fast as Turtle Rock this layout allows.
Yeah, and this too, since he left Turtle Rock behind, he will have quick access to Ganon's Tower, pretty much like it was in the vanilla game, really. Also,
yeah, for sure.
Just bring up something in chat. The reason why Cassidy never completed Pod is because he did not have the hammer at the time.
Oh, so yeah, so he, like I said, so yeah, so without Pod, yeah, this is definitely Gametsu's race to lose, and he probably has no idea that he has this big of a lead on these other runners at this point. And it looks like Edium is also in Ice Palace, about to get his Go mode item. So we are, and then I'm not sure. Old Man Sunshine has not made it there yet, but he's gonna have to make it to Ice Palace at some point if he's gonna, to get his Go mode items.
Yeah, and now Gametsu lays down the hammer on the pegs in the right order, and use the bombos to open up Turtle Rock. And since Turtle Rock is pretty much one of them is a little bit of a slow dungeon, well, pretty much a slow dungeon. Even if you're Go mode, it's still really slow. If you're not Go moding it, it's still slow. If you're Go moding it, it's still slow.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess in his favor, if the big key happens to be in the first chest on the left side, and then he's able to get a key from the right, or the big keys on the right side in the fire locked room. So we'll see where the keys are. And like I said, he will probably steal a key from Pokey, so he does not necessarily have to do as much.
And even then, if you get the big keys from the first test of the game,
it's of course it's still slow. It's right. I mean, but it'll be a little faster than it was, I assume.
Yeah, a little bit faster, because you don't have to necessarily go check the vanilla big key chest.
Yeah, the only problem that I've seen is that if there's a small key and you miscount, you could have to go back. So, but again, he has no idea how much of a lead he actually has. But Edium, Old Man Sunshine, and Cassidy are right on his heels, so he has to still be moving. But he just got his big key, so let's see how things were. Question in chat: Samaria was in Ice Palace.
Yep, Along with the
believe it
boots.
was in along with the boots. I believe it was the second item they found.
The freezer room.
Freezer room, yes.
And here's the worst room in the entirety of Link to the Past, the Chain Chomp room, because they do a ton of damage.
Yeah, I think with green mail, well, they have red mail, but with green mail, it's 4 hearts.
I think it's
And I think with red mail, it's 2.
more than that, really. I think even then, even if you got more mail upgrades, it still hits like a truck.
Oh yeah, and I don't actually understand what Mario items are doing in Zelda anyway, but that's another story for another.
I mean, try saying that to Link's Awakening.
Well, that Link's Awakening was after this, which again, I don't know why Mario items were in that game. At least those RNGs aren't as terrible as the Chain Chomps in Turtle Rock.
It's because Link's Awakening was a joke. It was a parody of. It was told by the developers that Link's Awakening was a parody of Zelda, and that's why they have a whole bunch of Nintendo characters in there to begin with. But anyway, back onto my time to Link the Past here. Gamachu making their way all the way through Turtle Rock, gonna head over to Trinex fight pretty soon. And of course, since this is
we do the Ganon Tower guessing game on this or not?
Of course, yeah. Once we get the seventh crystal, we're not gonna run the bot because this is a community race. There's a lot more racers behind the scenes. It's not like it's the beginning of the tournaments. Not like it's the main brackets or anything, or the groups or whatever. But that will be starting up pretty soon, somewhere in December.
It looks like there's some other things going on in Speed Game as well. So yeah, so he's in just about the end. He's gonna need one more key, so he is gonna have to go find it on Laser Bridge. So because he didn't open, I'm going to assume that there was a key in the big key chest, and that could have had him avoid Laser Bridge. But I just assume.
Yeah, he skipped out on the big key chest because he knows that he's in go mode. He's not looking for anything here.
Well, he's looking for that last key, so if that had a key, he wouldn't have to do Laser Bridge, is what I'm...
Right. But there's the big key, the small key anyway, so...
So, quick check there, yep. So, on to Trinex, and I'm sure it'll be a quick Trinex fight, so we'll start thinking of where the big key will be, and I'm sure chat will say tile room to be as trolly as possible to these runners.
Yeah, that's chat for you. But if Gamachu had the gold sword, he could attempt the zero cycle. But since we don't have the gold sword here, then we can't really do it.
Yep. And it's smart to change his items before the explosion heads, because you cannot change your items while the heads are exploding. I have yet to figure out why the game did that, but again, back in the 90s, that's...
Yeah, it's a weird one. But that's phase 1 in the book. Now off to phase 2, and that was a really quick fight. So there's Trinex.
So Professor Wonder, what number are you gonna pick of the Ganon Tower big key? We could be in one of 22 locations inside Ganon Tower. It's gonna be really quick to get him there. So Professor Wonder, what is your guess today?
It wasn't too terrible, so I'm gonna go and let's say 8.
I'm going with 6, and yeah, get those numbers in on chat. Now, of course, we won't be able to. You'll be number 1 in our hearts if you get it right. We won't be able to put it on any because there are other runners doing it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, seeing that Gamachu is on the restream, is doing the restream here. This when we get the official times, we might, if he does play it out well, he could take first. But then again, we don't know what the other runners are doing, so we will get that time in once the time comes. But Gamachu now heading to Ganon's Tower.
All right,
Game starts.
So here we go. He's going right side, left. Right side. So
right
chest
side, yeah.
number 1. Yep. Now chest number 1 has $300.
Yeah,
and
we're forced to go
$20.
right.
we're gonna go right. Is he gambling tile room?
He's gonna gamble tile room, all right.
He is. Well, with the cape and yeah. Well,
Oh no, wait, he's actually not gonna intend to do it because he thought there was a key.
He had a key.
Whoops. If he was intending to do that, then it would be
nice. Yeah, big guts. All right, so there's the small key by Bob.
Yep,
that's number 3.
Bob torch. That's 3. Of course, gonna grab that key under the pot.
And EDM taking down Vitreous on his side, while Gamachu is in chest number 4. Small piece of heart. Small key is number 5. Number 6, $20. Number 7, small key. So continuing on.
Yep. That's up to the fire snake room. Or the fire bar room, rather.
8. Yep, that should be number 8.
That is 50.
There's $50. So continuing on. Just don't forget that small key. So then we're gonna go into rando room. Oh, sorry, the other room first, and then rando room if necessary.
Yeah, the fire snake room.
Fire snake room first. I always forget about this room, even when I'm playing on my own. I'm like, what number is that?
Yeah, there's a big key.
There's a big key, number 9. So if you got number 9 in chat, congratulations. We applaud your effort of getting number 9, and now he's gonna make his way up to the gauntlet, Aga 2, and eventually to fight Ganon.
That would actually be Dimensive who took the guess of 9 first.
Well, congratulations, Dimensive. You are awesome. And also, we missed that Cassidy is also in Go mode, and he's going into Turtle Rock. Probably a little too far behind to catch Gamachu unless Gamachu has a terrible gauntlet and Aga 2. We also have EDM also heading into his final dungeon, and sadly, Old Man Sunshine still not going into Ice Palace. He's going to have to get there at some point.
Well, if he's doing Swamp Palace, that is a dungeon he can clear.
And he has to clear.
So Gamachu intentionally drops into the pit like that so he gets some iframes to dash through the cannonball room, and now Gamma starts the gauntlet.
This gauntlet was a pain back in the day when we were kids.
Well, these runners make it easy, and actually, just for a little bit of show, gonna use some ether action here, just make this room a little bit more quicker.
A little less RNG in that room, yep. So we'll also see how he does going the rest of the way. Yeah, these runners will make it look like cakewalk, but you know, when this game first came out, it was not cakewalk.
Oh no, I don't blame you. That's a really rough. First, it is the ultimate challenge.
Yeah,
it's meant to be the ultimate challenge.
Yeah, for sure. So into Land Molus, and
so,
this should be a
quick 1, 2, 3.
Before we even got to say 1, 2, 3, he was already done and out of it.
Yep, and now here comes the most satisfying sequence of rooms in the entire game. Gotta love this.
Yeah, kill 3 Wizrobes, and then the game says, well, how can we make it harder? We're going to put 4 and see if you can kill it in 1 try, and they do that.
Of course, these runners know how to do it too, so they do it like it's nothing.
Oh, there's another clean room for Gamachu easily, and then he'll go light the torches in the next 2 rooms, and then he'll be on his way to Aga 2. And we'll see if Aga 2 wants to cooperate.
Yeah, this will be a fun one for sure. So, quick and easy room there. Of course, we don't have to check. Gamachu does not have to check the final 4 chests of the game.
I'm sure he won't.
Of course not. No. There's no way he would ever. The only reason why he would ever need to check that.
Butter sword?
Yeah, but even then he's got gold sword and the not gold sword, the tempered sword, and even then if you get the gold sword, it's very marginal in terms of how fast it is.
Yeah, with Ganon for sure.
Yeah, it's really just a matter of making the attacks on Ganon a little bit more, the first two phases a lot quicker. So no need. I don't think he really needs to check the Moldarm 2 chest because it's pretty much it's pointless to really check it here because he's geared up. He's completely geared up and it's gonna check it anyway.
Well,
I mean, yeah, it's a heart piece, yeah.
Oh, he's taking Moldarm's small little heart, which is all he has.
He took his heart like the Phantom Thieves in Persona 5.
Oh.
But
so now we're on to Aga 2. So since we didn't get to do Aga 1, how many blue balls do you think we'll get in this fight against Aga 2?
I don't know. I mean, really, the blue balls are kind of pointless. Really, it's just because it makes the sequence a little bit annoying because you have two other clones to deal with. It's just 6 hits and you're good to go, and it's
yeah. The clones will only do the shot together, and if I remember reading correctly, that's 6. That if they all come together is the only way you can get the lightning once they have the 3. But I don't actually think I've seen that. All right, so we're on to face Ganon now.
Now, the nice thing about I can also say something too. The nice thing that there was a heart piece in the Moldarm 2 chest is that if he was counting his heart pieces correctly, he would have gotten a heart refill, but he doesn't get it here. But it's something nice to consider here. But Ganon drops down into the Ganon fight. Gonna take down. Let's make this fight really quick because he has the necessary materials for that. He's got tempered sword. He's got silver arrows. He's got red mail. He is good to go.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. He's gonna do this in easy fashion, and I'm sure he'll get the torch glitch and get all those done. So yeah, I'm sure he's already going to be into phase 3, and I believe it's 4 hits per stomp, and then on to phase 4.
Yep. This is going to be a fun one here. Of course, we don't have any sub 130 here, but it's at this point it's Gamma's game, really. Just
yeah, I don't even think Cassie is the closest, and in our stream he's the closest. But again, Gamachu already into phase 4, so.
Oh no, Silverman wants to win this.
Setting up a double. Nope, it doesn't get the torch glitch, but should be a double here. Yep.
Yeah.
Almost a triple.
That's it.
That's it. GG to Gamachu. Get your GGs in chat. Spam those GGs for Gamachu.
And all he's got to do now is cross the 1x3 ridge, and we will get his official time here. And really, he didn't need to do the torch glitch here because he was in a bad position. But the Gamachu has finished first on the restream with beneficial astral time of 1:31:52, and that's also good enough for first place overall.
Oh, that's awesome! Congratulations, GG to Gamachu. And it looks like Cassidy is right on his tail, along with Edom. And then we still are waiting for Old Man Sunshine. He must go to Ice Palace. And he is looking like he is going to the dig game.
Go for the dig spots. That's
as
cool.
As Edom and Cassie will start their head up into GT.
But now, really, Cassidy and Eddie are on a race of their own. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Although that Bonk is gonna offset Eddie a little bit, but we're gonna be going.
Well, if Cassidy goes immediately to the left and Edom goes to the right, that'll affect their time. So let's see what happens as they go into GT, which way they're gonna go. So it looks like Cassidy is gonna head right, and then let's see if Edom heads left, or is he gonna also head right? Nope, he's heading right also. So there's gonna be no time gained on that.
Yeah. If some time, I guess, on the mirror, but Cassidy already made it there to begin with, so Cassidy's still ahead.
Yep. And it's like he's one and a half rooms, I'd say, ahead at this point. So it's going to be down to their 2 executions. And where is Old Man? Is he going to? Where is he going? Oh, he must be going to check Ether Tablet.
Yeah, that's his call. And also we have Gamachu in the booth here. And also, yeah, Gamachu's right here. GG, dude.
GG,
Hey.
dude.
GG's.
I'm really gonna say though a lot of the locations for outside of Ice Palace, I would say that most of the spots for the items are pretty nice and very convenient locations.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I decided to skip Hera at first, because right before I got the Moon Pearl, all I needed for Gomo was Hammer and Cane. So, I got the Hammer and Sea House, and at that point kind of said to myself, I gotta focus on dungeons instead of overworld. At Thieves Town, Swamp, Pod, one of them has to have a cane, right? Of course, it has to be in Ice Palace Pendant.
There's always something in Pendant Ice Palace.
Yeah.
Always.
I mean, the Samaria and the boots, it couldn't be well timed enough because first we got the boots and the Samaria's right there in Freezar room. And again, it turned out to be the most convenient spots, even though really Ice Palace is, we never want to go to Ice Palace unless we absolutely must gotta do it. And that was the case here in the Siege.
I was wondering too, is anybody gonna make the play? You have Hammer, you have all this already, you only need one item for Go mode. Does anybody want to touch Ice Palace first before, Pod or Swamp? I'm like, no, that's Swamp 6 items, Pod 5 items, Thieves Town 4 items. It's just but I'm really glad I played out the way it did. I skipped a lot of stuff in the overworld, just kind of mainly focusing dungeons. Smith's Chain, Primal Ledge, Catfish.
Yeah, by doing that, you took first place.
Yeah, that was the right call, really. Just you never had to go really deep into the pendant dungeons outside of Ice Palace, of course. And that was what pretty much decided that whole thing here, and just going brute force into a lot of the main crystals that ended up having some really nice locations there. And that ended up being what gave you the win there.
Yeah. I mean, Pendant, what was it? Desert Palace had bow up front, right? So I decided, okay, let's dip. And the Hatara of Hera had nothing, but it had one item in the front, so I'm like, okay, that's good enough. I still have the whole Dark World to kind of navigate around, look for that cane and hammer. And Ice Palace, nobody loves Ice Palace. But that was kind of like my next stop if I didn't find it in Pod. The boots were a nice surprise.
That probably, well, I mean, the big key didn't turn out to be on the torch, but that could have been the only thing that could have messed it up, is had the big key been on the torch and you didn't, and you had gotten Samaria first, and then the boots still be buried deep inside Ice Palace.
Oh yeah, that would have been really horrible. I probably would have full cleared GT looking for them.
Yeah, as most runners would have. So we're also having Edium and Cassidy on their they are going up GT now. So what's next up for you, Gamachu, as far as racing is concerned?
I'm still doing the qualifiers. I've done 4 of them so far out of 5. Just need one more. I feel like I'm doing pretty decent. Well, the first 2 were actually disasters, but my last one was pretty good, so I'm pretty confident I'll be able to make get through the qualifiers.
Yeah, and I wish you good luck too. Those qualifiers, they're bringing a lot of big numbers, and it's because it's the most exciting one of the year, really. Just having the new main tournament just right here on Speed Gaming, and of course the best one here. I don't know. It's one exciting, really. I can't wait to see the main brackets or the main tournament proper once the qualifiers are over.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Every qualifier I've been to is, pretty much over 100 people racing. So that's really exciting.
Yeah. But again, GG to you.
Yeah, GG.
GG, thanks.
So Edium and Cassidy Mona are just one room apart from each other.
Yeah, remember they were a room and a half at one point, and now they're one room apart. So Gamachu, before you go, is there anything else you want to say about this?
No. I mean, it was really friendly overall. Just that, Ken Samara was But other than that, thank you guys for having me on Restream. Really fun. And thank you guys for commentating as well, and the trackers, of course.
Yeah, well, I don't know where we'd be without trackers. And so yeah, GG.
Yeah, but Edium and Cassidy both took the fall there, but because Edium is still in the lead, Edium took the fall first, but then Cassidy also took the fall first. Gonna lead the Moldrum 2 just behind, and Cassidy just gonna pull it here. He's just gonna hoping he had enough heart pieces, but unfortunately he does not. He's gonna be 2.5 hearts going into this Aga 2 fight. If he dies here, then it's just pretty much a landslide for Edium at this point.
Yeah, does he have anything in those bottles?
If he went over and I don't think he never got the powder, so he doesn't have access to the fairy in a bottle.
Oh, so if he has nothing, yeah, so you better be really cautious in this Aga 2 fight. But they're both in Aga 2 at this point, so let's see.
There's Edium's Aga 2 fight down. Now, if Cassidy dies here, then he's gonna have to do another climb up the mountain. This hit on this blue ball hit does not really matter. Cassidy having a lot of trouble on this Aga 2 fight, actually.
Well, they call him the geometry wizard for a reason in this fight, so
yeah.
he gets a double there.
And they're also now the clones are desynced too, so he's gonna have to play it very cautiously.
Yeah.
Ooh, only half a heart. If he dies here, then that's gonna be painful. And he gets it only half a heart.
Oh, way to pull it out there.
Ooh, he now has the checkpoint for, he does have the checkpoint for Ganon, so there's nothing to really
if he dies, yeah. And Edium's fight not as clean as Gamachu's earlier. He had a phase and a half, 2 phases with of the spinning torch, whereas Gamachu only had 1. And I like to see the boots dash, something I am not as familiar with, but I've definitely seen it, and now it looks like he'll be going into phase 3.
Oh, but Cassidy takes the fall, takes the death there. But again,
I think that's I would assuming that's intentional, just to make sure he has health the rest of the way.
It makes sense for him to die here, just because he still has enough health. Going in half a heart is not ideal, so he's going to intentionally take the death.
For sure.
But it's still Edium is way ahead of Cassidy.
Yeah, he needs in order for him to take this fight, this second place between these 4, he needs a Ganon fall or death. So
yeah. Edium needs to do it again. Has to have a fall on Ganon in order to have Cassidy steal the lead from him. But given the fact that he's pretty deep into the fight, this might be just the game set match if he doesn't die here.
This should be in the 4th
double. That is going to be Edium's fight. Get your GGs in chats for Edium.
Get your GGs in chat for Edium. He'll have an official SRL TV time of about 1:42:20.
Yeah, it's going to be second on the restream of an official SRL time of 1:42:16, and it's good enough for 6th place overall. Going in descending order, we had Matt 7898 in 5th place with a time of 1:42:04, Wayne in 4th place with a time of 1:41:51, Bombchi Missile in 3rd place with a time of 1:41:27, and Someone 325 in 2nd place with a time of 1:34:35.
And Cassidy getting the torch glitch. So yeah, spam those GGs in chat for Edium, and looks like Cassie is not far behind.
Yeah, and that's gonna be Cassie's fight too. So get your GGs in chat for Cassidy Moed. And also I missed this too, but also Omen Asante is in go mode. He did not grab the boots out of it was in one of the hookshot rooms, but
yeah, I guess well, lucky for him, the boots are not required in this seed, or else he would be going back to Ice Palace to get them. And it would probably take him a long time to find them at this point.
Yeah, but Cassidy has finished 3rd on the restream with an official Astral time of 1:43:13, and that's good for 8th place overall. And the only other finisher in descending order is Jay Misher in 7th place with a time of 1:43:04. And
Yes, let's
Cassie
ban
will
those
not be joining us
GGs
for
and
an AI
spats.
interview, though.
Is Edium going to join us?
You will.
So, Old Man Sunshine now making his way through Turtle Rock as we wait for him to finish. He's getting his small.
And hey, Adium, how'd it be?
Yeah,
Hey.
GG.
GG.
Thanks. Yeah, not surprising that Gamachu God roaded here.
Yeah, he pretty much had a good route ahead of him. He left Desert Palace and Tower of Hera in his excursion, and of course the only thing he could really do is go to Ice Palace. That was required for Go mode, but he left out Desert Palace and Tower of Hera as part of his completions. I think he completely skipped out on Hera in favor of going for the East Step Mountain play to get his Moon Pearl.
Yeah, I had a gut feeling about Ice Palace pretty early on, but I had so much other stuff left open I just couldn't pull the trigger. But Gamma, you must have skipped a lot of stuff.
Yeah, as soon as I got that hammer in a sea house, you have Thieves Town, you have Swamp, you have Pod. One of them is bound to have Cane, right? Or at least you think. So I decided to skip Smith's Chain, a few awkward checks, Pyramid Ledge, and Catfish, just to clear out the dungeons. Focus completely on dungeons. And
Yeah, I did that, but then I went back for Smith Chain and stuff before Ice, because I still had Dig Game and like Stumpy and Shovel and a few other things. I don't know. I didn't felt kind of silly just jumping into Ice Palace when you still have like 10 or 15 overload spots left. But I guess I'm not the one who won.
well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I was nervous about land modes at first. I got the bow. I'm still looking for Moon Pearl. And it's in logic. Moon Pearl could probably be on it. Glad it wasn't. And
Yeah, I did Lamo right away because I got the bow there, and I'm like, the bow could be why it's sending me here, but I better do Lamo just in case.
I was also thinking that Pearl could be on Armos Knights because the Fire Rod puts it in logic if the big key's in the
Yeah.
first 3 chests.
Yeah, we kind of thought that too, but in general, though, the item locations were inconvenient spots. Really, it's just because of course, looting Cactus really nice. We had Hammer in Station House. We had Hookshot in inside Spectacle Rock.
I gotta say, I think that was my best bomb start ever. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
had
the bomb start.
620 escape, which usually doesn't happen for bomb starts for me.
Yeah. But yeah, outside of that, though, if you got any final thoughts on the seed, let us know.
It was a fun seed. I would have liked Boots a little earlier, but it was a fun seed. I enjoyed this one.
I will say this though, you were at least a couple of you're like a few seconds between yourself and Cassidy Moen.
Yeah, I saw. And then a couple of people sniped me. I was if I hadn't had that Moldorm 2 fall, I would have came in 4th instead of 6th. So that's how close it was between a few people there.
If it doesn't hurt as well, Cassidy also fell at the same time.
Oof.
And he also took a death to Ganon as well to get his health up. So yeah, he was a little further behind you.
Yeah, because he had a rough Agat 2 fight.
Yeah, he was down to half a heart if I remember correctly. Yeah,
He had to
Oh,
really
wow.
help for that
pulled
fight.
it out. Yep.
Where were all the bottles? I saw one on Bumper K, but I opted not to get that.
There was one on the Magic Bat, which the powder was on the blacksmiths.
And then I don't remember where the other one was. That
Yeah,
was
I
another
didn't-
thing that Gamichu never got the bottle, so he never did any of that.
Yeah, I went up and got that bottle because I was like, I haven't seen any yet, so I better get this so I can do the sick kid check soon. I still didn't have the hammer at the time, so I was just like, yeah, I don't want to like risk the hammer being on sick kid or something like that.
Yeah, I was just betting it's gonna, I'll probably have another accessible one soon.
Yeah.
It never came.
Yeah, sick kid was just a piece of heart or something junky like that.
Yeah, just it was nothing.
In that case, I'm glad I didn't visit Sick Kid.
I was really hoping for a ped seed though, because I did desert and Hera both before I had Dark World access. So it was just like I decided to check ped before jumping into ice, and that probably made me not go into ice for a while. If I hadn't had the book to check ped, I might have been a little more likely to just jump into ice, because then I wouldn't have known that the ped was nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was a little nervous on that. After I got the book and Skullwoods, I told myself I should probably do a split check, just mirror over here and just, check it really quick. But I don't really want to waste time. Like, nah, what are the odds?
Well, there's no real wrong decision. It's just what was right for this particular seed. And that's, the ped leading you away from where you need to go, which was Ice Valley.
Yeah. Well, GG's. I'm gonna take off. But thanks for the commentary and thanks to the trackers.
Yeah, GG's to you.
GG.
GG, see y'all.
So we're still waiting on Old Man Sunshine. He's just about to make his way up through GT now.
Yeah, he's got his 7 crystal, gonna make his way over to Ganon's Tower pretty soon.
Gavachu, you're more than welcome to stay with us as long as you like. So let's see if Old Man Sunshine goes left or right first. Oh, he's going left first. And because he does not have boots, he cannot get bomb storage.
Of course, Old Man Sunshine bringing a sigh of relief because he knows that the boots are not required for GT.
He just has to be careful with his keys going up the tower.
I mean, he should be fine anyway.
Yeah, I believe so because there's at least a couple more keys that were on the way. So I think he'll be fine as long as he doesn't waste too many, which I don't think he will because I think, like I said, there's at least one more key he can get easily, and he can always get the one in the Humble Store room too. I believe there's a key there on one of the Humble Stores, so he can always get that one.
Yeah, I mean,
In a worst case scenario.
Yeah, in the worst case scenario, it's not too bad, so he'll be fine. Old Man Sunshine, yes, we're gonna go cover to the Fire Snake room, which is where our big key is gonna be held, which is not bad, especially when you consider that you don't have to go Dark Magician.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of runners go Dark Magician, but in this case, Dark Magician would not have helped. And I think it's only if you get keys in the skeleton rooms, like 2 or 3. Then you do Dark Magician?
Yeah, I don't know the full context on Dark Magician and the specific requirements for that. There's a whole lot of Dark Magician variants that I personally cannot for the life of me figure out.
Yeah, I'm sure someone in chat will help us figure that out if they. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's if you start off going right for a key and then go left to steal a key and then you go full right. I believe that is it, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I personally don't know myself, and that's kind of one thing too. But again, it's a nice I mean, he's fine anyway. So
Yeah, he's just gonna make his way up the tower, and with him having powder, he'll be able to get some of the anti-fares along the way as well. So that'll be interesting for him. But yeah, without the boots, it's lucky for him that the big key was not on the torch, or else he would have been in trouble. And he also cleared out all the pendant. He cleared out almost everything except for Ice Palace, and I believe so did Edom. But Cassidy and Gamachu did not. And Gamachu, if as from what we were saying earlier, didn't complete any of the pendant dungeons. So, and that's what gave him his first place finish.
yeah, it's very interesting how various routing decisions either gets you in a really good position, gets you a really nice position on the standings, or gives you a win on the race.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of wondering where that gold sword is. Not that it matters, but and nobody having to do silverless Ganon either, which is all nice too. Everybody found the silver.
Really, it could have either been where it normally is in the Pyramid Fairy, or could have also been in GT.
Or on Cold Stare. I think Cold Stare had an item left. There was at least one item left in Ice Palace, if I remember correctly.
But to answer a question in chats, the gold sword was actually on the laser bridge.
Oh, it was. Oh, okay. So someone must have gotten it.
Oh, it was Cassidy, because he never got the never went for Hype Cave to get the other sword.
Oh, okay. Chad always keeping us on our toes and making sure that there are other sets of eyes.
Oh man, on almost at the top of Ganon's tower. Gotta be cautious here. Does not want to despawn the rest of the sprites here. Okay, he's good. Yeah,
That would be bad.
Yeah, if you go up the stairs when the door opening jingle plays, then it causes the entirety of Ganon's tower to get rid of all the sprites, including Moldorm 2 and as well as Aga 2. So even if you know how to hover, you cannot, and I mean, you cannot finish the rest of the tower unless you reset the entirety of Ganon's tower, either by mirroring or just probably like leaving the room and leaving Ganon's tower and coming back in.
Which would be a huge time loss. But yeah, Old Mine Sunshine now I assume he's not going to check that chest. He has full
he's not.
health, and he's going to head up to his trigonometry wizard and see how he did in trigonometry class.
And really, it does not matter, because he has a tempered sword. He has silver arrows. He's fine. Does not need to check anything else.
Yeah, there's really nothing else that could have helped him anyway. All right, so on to his Aga 2 fight. Gets a 1 on that first one. This looks like it could be a double. Yep, looks like he got the double there, so that's 3. And the longer the Aga 2 fight goes, the harder it is, because then the other 2 Aghanims will start appearing when the real one is not there. So that's unfortunate thing the longer this fight. Yeah, and as you can now see, they are totally out of sync now.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
He's good. He's good, yeah. And giving Agatu a couple of slashes for posterity, I suppose. Now he'll face Ganon and see how his Ganon fight goes.
And so far he's doing all right. No need to worry whatsoever.
I think he's gonna get through his phase now into phase 2 himself. And I believe it's 12 hits with the tempered sword to get to phase 3. And then 4 sword slashes to get 1 per phase to get to phase 4. Getting his lamp out for the torch glitch.
This is Old Man 2's Old Man Sunshine's 4th phase.
Setting up for oh, he did get the torch glitch.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's fine.
Just put the skewers in and he's good to go.
Yep.
And 1 more to go.
2 more. Now 1 more.
Yep.
This
So
should be it.
Cat for Old Man Sunshine. All he's gotta do is cross the 1 by free bridge, and he will be good to go.
Yeah, get ready to spam those GGs in chat for Old Man Sunshine.
And he has finished 4th on the restream with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 1 minute, and 19 seconds, and it's good for 12th place overall. Going in descending order, we have Sir Beater of I don't want to say his name, but he finished in 11th place with a time of 1:51:46. And then we have He's Just a Boy in 10th place with a time of 1:49:06. And Zelga Desan in 9th place with a time of 1:43:57.
Yeah, spam those GGs in chat for Old Man Sunshine. And then, yeah. Are there other still racing at this point? Or is everybody...
Yeah, there's others, but I'm just naming the ones that...
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure. I wasn't
course.
even sure if there were others racing or he was the last one. I couldn't...
Yeah, but
I wasn't
Old Man
sure.
Sunshine's in the booth, and we'll be getting him pretty soon.
Oh, awesome.
Hi, Old Man Sunshine.
GGs.
Oh, hi. Are we still on the air?
Yeah, we're still in the air.
Oh, yeah.
It was all going so well. And then Kane happened.
Yeah, that's not the thing, really. Ice Palace was the play, and even though we hate Ice Palace, that's how it ended up.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was feeling pretty good when I found Ice Rod and was 1 away from go mode. Unfortunately, that was an hour ago.
Yep.
But that's how Rando goes.
Yep, Rando got a Rando. But I'll give this credit though. The spots in a lot of the items in the seed were in that really nice convenient location.
Oh, yeah. Except for one.
Yeah, I mean even then the boots were actually, oddly enough, they were actually in Ice Palace as well. They were,
I knew it. I knew they were going to be behind Kane. I knew it. I was like, watch, I'm going to find Kane and the boots are going to be after it and I'll never get him.
I mean, you're lucky that that the GT Big Key was not on the torch.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Walked into
that
GT and went, all right, let's see if I'm in trouble. Okay, good. It's a small key.
All right. Any final thoughts on the seed aside from that?
No, it's just a really long slog to get that last item.
All right, but GG to you. We gotta wrap things up here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
understand.
GG's.
That's gonna do it for here. But be sure to follow our amazing forerunners at Eddie M, Gamachu, Old Man Sunshine, and Cassidy Mo. They put on a really, really good race, especially for Eddie M and Cassidy Mo inside. And of course, I like to thank the runners, or not the runners, the trackers for tonight. We had Dumaga and Mr. Scrap of Tuna. They're the unsung heroes, of course. And of course, be sure to follow myself and Nitro 6003. And any final thoughts on this for you, Nitro?
No, as finishing out my first one, no, this was fantastic and pleasure to commentate with you, and look forward to more of these races in the future. But thank you very much. You've been awesome.
No problem, man. But until then, watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. We have a 2 p.m. race. We have 2 p.m. daily. We also have a 9. We should also probably have a 9 p.m. coming up as well. But also at around 11, pretty late one, we have the next qualifier for the Link to the Past Randomizer 2019 tournament. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And until next time, Professor Render, he was Nacho 6003, and we're out of here.
Good night.